Last January, the school board in a small town in Illinois fired one of its teachers because she had been raped and chose to keep her child. It is a complicated story, one whose ending will be written in court. Rich Samuels of WMAQ-TV in Chicago is here this morning to tell us about it. Rich.
Jane, this is a story that many who see it find hard to believe. It is a story that touches on the most fundamental relationship there is, that between a parent and a child. 14-month-old Gregory Ekman was born out of wedlock. Gregory was conceived in November 1980 when his mother, Jean, a school teacher who has never been married, was raped while returning home from a religious retreat.
Good boy, excellent. Yeah, good.
Because Jean is a Roman Catholic who for a time studied to become a nun, she chose to carry Gregory to term. Because Jean has strong maternal instincts, she has chosen to raise Gregory herself as a single parent. These decisions have cost Jean Ekman her job. Because her school board says her pregnancy of wedlock has made her guilty of immorality and unqualified to teach. The school where Jean Ekman taught is in a rural area 60 miles northwest of Chicago. Hawthorne District 17 school is not large, only 189 students, and Jean would probably still be teaching here had she kept quiet, had she had an abortion. But the teachings of her church made that impossible.
For me, there was no choice. I knew that I had to choose the life over death for the baby. I was out in California. I went out there in April, and I found a Corita poster. I don't know if you've ever seen it, or you know any Corita's works, but it's really explosive, and it says, "Yes to you."
The words, "Yes to you," on a poster by artist Corita Kent, who spent 32 years in a convent and whose works often echo a pro-life message.
And I think from the time I found out I was pregnant, you know, that has been what I've echoed inside my heart. Yes to you. Yes to the child inside of me.
Jean's students were of junior high school age. She suspected her rape and pregnancy might present a problem at school. Her principal, also a Roman Catholic, offered her full support. But when the school board and the community learned that Jean was pregnant and that she planned to keep her child, it was another story.
She hid it from the students. She never bragged about it.
Some parents could accept Jean's decision, others could not, and they asked the board to fire Jean Ekman. The board sent Jean a so-called notice to remedy, stating shortcomings that, if uncorrected, could lead to her dismissal. Your conduct in becoming pregnant outside the state of marriage has diminished your ability to teach and the ability of your students to learn their lessons from you, the board told Jean. You are cautioned not to engage in such conduct in the future. But the letter the board worked on the night of July 20th, 1981, came a little late.
In fact, I was in labor on the day that they were compiling this letter. The letter came out on the 20th, or at the meeting of the 20th of the board meeting. And at 12:47 that morning of the 21st, I gave birth to my son.
Gregory Ekman weighed 7 pounds, 7 ounces at birth.
Baby, that's Gregory.
Today, he weighs 23 pounds and is about to take his first steps. But his birth only compounded his mother's problems. For last January 18th, the board fired Jean Ekman outright, saying she was still guilty of immorality for having a child out of wedlock. A state hearing officer recently disagreed with the board. On the contrary, he wrote, she was an eminently moral person, a religious person, and staunch in her beliefs, and he ordered Jean Ekman rehired.
John? Yes. George? Yes.
But the board has voted to appeal that order, and it will go to court to keep Jean from teaching.
He's the joy of my life. You know, he's given so much to my life that all I can continue to say to him is yes to you.
Jean Ekman is here this morning along with her attorney, Dick Bird. Is it possible that the school board was actually having meetings wherein they were deciding what you were to do with your unborn child?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the president of the board came to my house and asked me to resign or else to put my baby up for adoption.
Why? On what grounds?
That as a single parent, I could no longer be effective teaching in the classroom.
Dick, you're in federal court now. What kind of a legal remedy might there be for Jean?
Well, there's a variety of remedies, including money damages, injunctive relief, trying to rehabilitate her character, get her good name back.
Well, Jean, this is a kind of a lawsuit that, if successful, could make you suddenly a very rich woman. Is it money? Is that going to resolve the matter, or is there something more?
No, the name. The Ekman name is a name that I've been proud of and my family's been proud of, and I would like to see that restored.
A small-town school board, were they encouraging you ever to get an abortion? And if so, it strikes me as that must have been a very difficult decision for those people to come to, mandating abortion, in effect.
Well, early on, there was some suggestion about abortion. It was discussed, but as a practical matter, when the school board found out and as a group, it was too far in the pregnancy for them to effectively coerce the abortion.
You, as a school teacher in a small-town junior high school, must have known of what we call the unwed mother, the teenager who gets in trouble. Did you ever counsel her?
Yes, I have counseled students that were in that position.
And what advice did you give?
I always told them that they had to do what their conscience felt was correct.
And that's what you did?
Yes, I did. I also sought help from the Illinois Education Association. So they sent me legal counsel with Mr. Bird and Mr. Lawrence Reiner, and I've been reinstated, and all charges have been, I've been found innocent of all the charges that they placed against me.
But you're kind of a marked woman, aren't you?
Yes, I have been, yes.
It's difficult for a teacher unemployed today, regardless of her skills, to find employment because there's such an abundance of teachers. And for her to have such baggage has just destroyed her ability to teach.
Simply because she acted upon the basis of conscience.
Ruth Samuels, thank you for bringing us the story, and thank you for coming here.
You're welcome, thank you.
We'll be back in a moment, but first, this is Today on NBC.
This is Today, watched by more viewers than any other morning news program ever.